course, as soon as I go 5-string, my hands go shaky. Oh, but of course. So I got shaky hands. What can I say? I don't have the dexterity I used to have. There are other ways to do this, but once it seals up, I have to be sure these connections stay the way they need to be. People don't believe me when I say everything is hand built. Step, maybe another module. Plenty to do. I can see chat if you're watching. I'm not going to be able to type back, but I can talk back if you can hear me. See, almost got distracted. Wondering, these are the throttle control modules, which in the latest version of PowerFEED are completely independent. These connections power the module as well as control the motor start-stop. Yes, the stable current version of the feed, which everybody gets from here on out, is remote start. I mean, since it's independent, if it can be done, let's do it, right? These for feeds that are going out this week. See this and can hear. Do me a favor, drop something in chat. Let me know that you can hear. I don't know. Oh, YouTubing's and internet ain't my thing. Not anymore. Being out where I live, there's no telling. I can't open and watch YouTube while I upload, while I stream. I shouldn't see nothing. Wouldn't see a thing. These initial power and switching wires are attached. I'll jump over to the connectors for, it used to be the throttle servo was independent or, permanently wired, but that got switched over to the connector as well. In case there's ever a problem, it's got to be changed out. Now it has a waterproof connector, so I've got a pigtail for that. So if there's ever an issue with the throttle servo, stream as a test. Only got about another hour to keep the stream up. I do have to take my dog to the vet. These aren't extremely high current connections. Triggers a solenoid, one grounds out a solenoid. Powers the throttle itself. 18 gauge is fine, but 18 gauge is a little bit big for these ones. Okay. So now we got that. Let's grab. We'll go ahead and grab these servo cable. Remember which drawer I checked in here. Always the fun part. Where I put the cable. These are the ones that got put on there. So, this should go a little bit quicker. So I'll put it down. Same situation. These are for the actual servo connection, the throttle servo. Still have one more detail to put on it. Sonic sensor just tells when the saw head clears to cut. Tells the system when to stop its automated cut. But it needs a connector as well. Yeah, these little pigtails are the easy part. Wire wire sizes are correct, everything's good to go. It's just tag it in basically. I've already got another one over here. Once these have caught up, it'll join the rest. It gets confusing to people if they see two identical connectors, even though the pin count's different. So, decision with me. Yeah, by me. Big decision. This needs to be pulled back just a little bit. And it's digital. There's no high current in this one. So, this one's tricky to remember. His. I've had problems with that in the past. And wiring backwards, can't figure out what the heck I did wrong. But everybody's human, right? No mistake. But no. Humans ain't supposed to make mistakes, right? And these connectors, the red and black, are a little bit larger cable wire, which doesn't help, doesn't hurt. It's just wild to see that in something that claims to have the same wire gauge. But again, digital, so it's not pulling major current. Funny, I know there's viewers. I have to assume there's no subscribers because nobody said anything. Which is fine. All anybody ever does is yell at me. To say today. Normally I talk to myself a lot. I have long conversations. It's kind of boring because I don't like any of the responses I get. The older you get, the more you can argue with yourself. To be said. As you can't tell, I'm using a magnifier. It just may be out of view. For this, just the wiring, I'm just using one of these. I just clamped this goofy webcam up on the workbench, little shelf I have up here. And seems to be doing okay. Anyway, so I'm trying to stream this on Starlink. And I look up and I can see YouTube telling me low bandwidth. Low bandwidth. Yeah, Starlink ain't meant to be like the absolute best and greatest and all that. But I gotta admit, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. So that part's done. Hey, now we gotta add something kind of cute. We gotta add something kind of cute. If I can find them. That's been my biggest downfall, is locating these little things. I've got these little beepers and what they're for. They won't let you walk away from the sawmill with the ignition on when the motor not running. Nah, yeah. This was an addition kind of had to be done. You know, it's one of those things where a guy gets to the end of the day, he's tired, might hit the power switch on the lift, which with the lift and feed controls the whole system, you know. But you get used to things, you tend to walk away as soon as all the lights get turned off. Well, this module being on its own, being independent at this point, you could in the past walk away and just leave it powered on, and it would drain the battery. Well, I mean, like anything you leave powered on, it's going to drain a battery. So the smart idea was to make it annoy you when everything else is turned off except that, and the engine's not running. So it'll just go beep real loud and annoy the hell out of you. But you know, just reach up and turn the key off, and all well. Yeah. Just the little solutions that I was looking for. Okay, this is another one of these very low power consumption items on this. Very low power consumption, but makes a huge difference. But it's something people had asked for even on the lift. People turn things off. They don't completely turn everything off. They forget, whatever. Very sad walking up to your power tool and finding all the battery dead. So this aims to prevent that. Last one of the 4 on this group. And we'll see where we stand. Okay. Now the next bit, you're going to look at me and go, why would you do that? Why would you put that on the board? Well, because this next part, kind of an interesting thing that got added to, well, let me show you something here, since we just got done putting the beepers on there. When you've got your remote, here's a remote. This one doesn't have a battery in it. Let's pull this one. I've already planted a battery in it. So anyway, when you turn your remote on, okay, it powers up. Now you got your throttle switch. Looks like a safety. You can do the same thing here, power that off. But if you hold this button, that's your engine control. You have a remote start and stop for the engine. Pretty cool, huh? I thought so. But I don't want my parts being in control of the starter amperage. So what happens instead is it just relays some other small stuff. Yay, relays. Yay, relays. I don't think I have any more orange candy, but it doesn't matter. It gets buried in there anyhow. So, but yeah, now we get to put the relays on. Now we get to put the relays on. They're not that difficult. And yes, see, there's a relay for start and stop. So, anyway. Hand built, y'all. That's what I'm saying. No machine assembling this stuff. None of it. Well, I mean, there's some machines involved because there's some things a guy just can't do. No without a machine. what the part is made for. Consider that. You could saw wood by hand, but you got a sawmill, right? The reason you got a sawmill. Some of us used chainsaw mills in the past. You'd think a regular sawmill would have a lot of work. There's no way I could run a Alaskan mill anymore. Oh no. Oh no. Spoiled. What are you doing? I'll put relays in. That's what I'm doing. You know, if I was a factory on the other side of the planet, it'd be a different component, but it would be wave soldered. Wave soldering's kind of cool, but you know, I considered things like an SSR, solid state relay, which could be digital and on the board, or a MOSFET. But when you get into stuff like that, it has its own other considerations you got to make. Taken to consider MOSFETs, if you do push high current, you've got to deal with heat. I've already got enough heat issues with my motor drivers, so we're not going to voluntarily go down that road again. Solid state relays, you know, they operate similar to a MOSFET, but what are they called? They're not a solid state relay on DC. What are they? Can't remember. Anyway, issue with those is there's always a little bit of leakage current, so yeah, it becomes what's the word I'm looking for? Unreliable. We don't do unreliable no more. Lessons learned. Take time, even if it means having to shut down production. When you learn a mistake, when you learn that there's a potential problem, don't send people junk. Fix the problem. They may be frustrated at the moment. If they understood what was going on, they'd thank you later. For one, I don't like warranties. I don't like having to fix stuff under warranty. Should make sense why. So why not just do this stuff the right way? I'm gonna bet I'm talking to a void. Clean these up once they're done. This one, like I said, see, it's already got its relays, so it's good to go. This one can be rolled in more of these now, and we'll have one more. Switch over to the other relays. Back when this throttle system first went independent, the throttle servo first went independent, I was talking about that whole battery dying thing. Guy pops up and says, well, do the same thing you did with the feed. Do the same thing you did with the center gateway. Oh? Wow. See, the center gateway and the feed, they both use LED light bars, basically. I have one of the development modules sitting here on the bench, but they use these little indicator modules like this with 8 real bright RGB LEDs, so it's a big indicator. The problem is you go burying something like this beside your battery, between the engine and the battery. You're never going to see it. It's buried. There's a purpose for that. You know, you bury things. We like a clean look, right? Well, that's when the audio kicked in. Thing is, when your engine's running on the sawmill, well, it's not an issue. You hear the engine. The idea for the beeper is to remind you when the engine's running, or not, you know, the ignition key is on. Well, there's trucks and equipment and all that to do that. Key is on, but the engine not running, it just beeps at you. So, yeah, it knows. There we go. Okay, another one. Last one for relays. And we're going to use these fellas here. I'll verify these are the same ones they should be. That's the problem with manufacturers change these parts all the time. Leaves me hanging sometimes. Let's see. Yeah, they're the TX212. Yeah, they're correct. Oh, but the leads are a little longer. I can see that. So if the lead's longer, you know what that means? Nothing. Sorry, basing it to me, not you. How rude. I don't know. Yeah, how often I'm gonna do this stream thing. I don't have a problem with it, but my time gets torn every time the phone rings. Whether I'm running the lathe, running the mill, soldering, assembling, testing, powder coating, lasering. Yeah. So there's no telling what we're up to at any given time. So it gets to be an interesting problem. A real interesting problem where it's kind of hard to schedule hey, yeah, let's stream so everybody knows that I am working on their stuff. Sure, I can babble and talk to y'all while I'm doing this, but the issue becomes when you guys talk back. I've got a one-track mind. I lose control. Everything I'm thinking of. I just want to take some of this flux off here. You know, it's a no clean. It ain't gonna hurt anything, but I like how things look when I look pretty. I like pretty stuff. And the thing about 99% alcohol is non-conductive. It won't hurt anything. And it will evaporate. So use it to... Oh guys, they're just hanging up a little bit higher than I like. Yeah, it's non-conductive and it'll evaporate really fast before I get a chance to use anything. So why not use it to clean, right? That's what we've been doing in electronics for years. Just a little brush and some IPA, isopropyl alcohol. Give it a little scrub and clean the thing. Yeah, no mess. No bother. Isn't that what my one YouTube guy says? No bother. You know, you know. One more after this. Oh, see? That's where this second peek through pays. There we go. And it had a little bit of a bridge connection. That would have been disappointing. Would have been disappointing because from where that was bridged, it would have been endlessly cranking the motor, which no, you guys would have never known because it would have never left here. But the problem is the following steps, these things get locked into their enclosures, and yeah, more time involved. Okay, so what you've seen me do is create 4 additional throttle controller modules. Now they still have to go in their enclosure to get sealed up, but they're there. They are there. So what I've done with the throttle enclosures is I done magnetized them, everybody. Magnetized them. I can't find my steel plate. Just grab a different steel plate. Grab just a piece of steel. When you get it up next to the motor, you know, you put it on the back of the saw guard, so it won't go anywhere, it won't vibrate anywhere. Good idea, right? So what these modules are doing is what we do with them. Pop them in here, fasten them down. Here, and there's a little itty bitty hole he can talk out of when he goes to talk to you. When the top goes on, it presses and beeps through that little hole right there. Hope you can see that. No, maybe. Yeah, beeps through that little hole. But anyway, these 2 go out this way, and these 4 go out here. Now before I seal it up, there's a bunch of conformal or potting compound goes in here, locks it all in, but that's after testing and after the protective wire sheathing or wire loom, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah. So we must do that. Tuck them in. Goes here. This goes here. Into place. Grab a screw. I mean, because of the potting compound, this screw's really not necessary, but it holds it in place for me right now, and that's all that matters. Now there will be strain relief. That's part of the wire loom procedure. Okay, and then there's obviously a cap. And then of course I do have to label. I gotta label what these are. Okay. Yellow, you're going to find a connector on your sawmill that comes off the key switch, and it's a bullet connector. There'll be one on there. That's switch 12 volt. Black is pretty obvious. This will come with a ring terminal to the ground. Blue will have two spade, a female and a male, that helps you connect it to the starter solenoid. And the green, it gets a male to female bullet connector. And that connects to your low oil shutdown. My buddy Tim just sent me a message and says there's a lot of lag, because he sent me a message and waited for it to ding on his end. Yeah, there's a lot of lag on live streams, Tim. Happens a lot. But hey, you know, yeah, there's lag. That's okay. It gives me it gives me enough time, kind of like a what do you call that? Remember when they used to dump the buffer? Yeah, back in the censorship days. Yeah. But the funny thing is, I anticipated customers or other subscribers to pop up and say, I don't think he's live. That way I could reply back, yeah, I'm live. Yeah, whatever. Today's age, nobody trusts nobody. Of course, you know, I'm a grumpy old man too. I don't trust nobody either. But what are you gonna do? Anyway. Alright. We'll put this last one in here, and then we're gonna call it for today. Because I gotta do other stuff, then there's no camera nearby. But I get to look at it and see whether or not I can keep doing it, whether it's worth doing it. Yeah, we got to figure all that out. So, other than the potting compound and the tops, these are the throttle control modules we just got done. Now, obviously, we didn't show you populating those, but yeah, whatever. There's other parts to do, like the main lift and the feed controllers, the remote controllers. They're all up here on the shelf. So, anyway, I'm gonna shut this down for the now because I got other stuff to do. But I think it was a good test. If you're watching this, email me. Let me know what you think. Or comment afterwards, because I won't delete this. I'll leave it as a video. Thanks for watching.